Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is episode 26 of the SANE Show, the show about nothing and everything. I got someone who hasn't been on here in 24 episodes. We got Mal, my co-host, who I know
What's
some of you guys
up?
are like, what? I know a few have been like, yeah, I know she's your co-host, but I haven't heard her on a few. I was like, yeah, we had some things happen, but at the end of the day, Mal is my official co-host. So we even had some people like offer to like be the co-host. So I'm like, nah, I'm good. So I have to learn to do without. So I'm super excited and super glad to finally have you back on the same show. I know we got you, helping co-host the live recording later this month as well. So I'm super
Yeah.
stoked for that as well. But it's dope that you and I can do the same show aside from the live recording, but before the live recording. So
Yeah, back
how
at
you
it
doing?
again. I'm good.
Yes.
I'm glad to be here. It's been too long.
Yes, it's been, gosh, that was back in October.
October, yeah.
So yeah, we're about half a year into doing the same show. So it's been a lot. It's been a short journey, but it's been really busy. A lot of exciting things. I'm sure there's been a lot of exciting guests, and people have heard episode 2, and a lot of people like you as well. I don't think I told you Brittany heard the episode 2 when we were in the car one time, and as you're like getting on me, she's like, I like her.
Uh,
So you got a
Come on,
fan
Brittany.
in my girl. So
That's awesome.
so let's go ahead and hop right into it. Today we're going to talk about, we got 4 topics. We're going to talk about common courtesy,
hmm
conforming to social standards, living your best life, cockiness, confidence, and being humble. And then, as always, we got our trending topic, which we'll reveal later in the conversation, as we always do. So let's go ahead and get into it. And I'm not going to get on a soapbox like I did before the recording, but
You can be
we're going to
chatting a little
start
bit,
with
y'all.
common. Oh my goodness. I know this is going to be so much fun. Uh, so, common courtesy, gosh, between, I'm just going to be honest, people, just in general, as it relates to the podcast. I'm going to be honest with the listeners. I'm tired of people wanting to come on the same show or people agreeing to come on the same show and they no show me or they no call me.
Mm,
Like, come on,
mm.
give me a little bit of respect.
Uh,
But in general, but that made me think though,
about common
where has it
courtesy and
gone?
yeah.
In general, yeah. Like, I mean, being courteous enough, because I'm not going to say it's just with something I've experienced with the same show, but it's something I've been experiencing in general. And I guess like when it's like something really, I guess when it comes to the same show, it's major to me because this is something very important to me, as you
Yeah.
know very well.
Yeah.
So when it's like something, when it happens to, I guess, like a significant moment in which it happens, I guess what I like to call blatant disrespect of your time, it
hmm
makes me, I notice it more in other situations where it's not as important or not as, I guess, significant or doesn't mean as much as it would with the same show. It makes me think now, again, speaking of common courtesy in general, like, where has it gone? It's almost like, are you afraid to tell somebody? Like, I'm not saying people are, but it's like it's almost as if people are afraid to tell somebody, and at the same time, people forget to like. Because I wonder, like, do people not mark their calendars? Do people, you know what I mean, like not go by some kind of schedule? And even in my own personal cases, like, I try to hit people up to make sure. And at the very end, I like to call it being stood up. If you stand somebody up, at least apologize and like,
Yeah.
hey, my bad. And at the end of the day, you do that, I'll be a lot more forgiving because like, oh, you didn't mean to do it. Versus,
Oh
okay,
yeah, of course.
I never, I
It
never
all
heard
really
from you. Go ahead.
yeah. And I think this is about to be a really deep take on it, but I'm just a firm believer that things are always underneath the surface. Like, it's never what you think, and, it's the top solution.
Right.
But what it really comes down to when someone doesn't have like common courtesy is, I think it comes down to priority, and probably more a little bit
Right.
of like selfishness, where it's like and males tend to be very self-aware, or at least, and what I mean by self-aware is that they're very aware of what's happening with them and like around them to a certain degree. Women tend not to notice so much what's happening around them, but they notice more like what's happening within them. And so with that, I think you run into sometimes people don't always understand that like your priorities determine your actions. So you might be walking and going to grab the door of someone, and there's a guy behind you, and so he's more aware of what's happening around him, so he'll be a little bit easier to go and grab the door. Like, he's like, hey, I should do this, I should grab the door. But man, I run into girls
Right.
all the time that are just so unaware of their surroundings. I'm like, bitch, did you not see me standing here? I'm like, come on now. It's like we're so focused on ourselves that we don't even look up to see what's happening around us.
Right. I totally agree. It's so funny you say that though, because at the end of the day, like if someone, I've always been told, and I believe it as well. I mean, people have different priorities, and sometimes what you may prioritize may not be as high on somebody else's list of priorities, in which I totally understand and I do respect. And that's, one of the things I try to make sure to do is that when people do stand me up or whatever, I make sure to not hold a grudge, because at the end of the day, I still want the best for that individual. But at the same time, it's like, yeah,
I do what I can.
Right. Because I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm perfect, and I always forget, or no, sorry, I always remember to let people know that I'm not going to be able to do something, because I mean, it just irks my nerves.
Moral of the story: have some common courtesy, people. Let's keep the world a positive and loving place.
Right. Yeah, and it's so funny though. One of the things I'm learning with this is the further along it gets, especially because I was telling somebody the other day, like the level of talent that I have coming on the show now is slowly starting to go up, or in terms of I guess you want to look at it in terms of like EDCB A-list people, like it's like working our way up the alphabet.
Yeah.
And because again, I always speak about how the show feels less like or it went from feeling like a hobby to like, this is real deal, this is not a joke, like this is a business, more so. And so it's like I take it more serious. And so I guess like the more serious I take it, in general, that's the same thing with other people. The more serious they take things that they do, I guess the more important common courtesy becomes. Even if because it's like my cousin, he had a music video shooting. He wanted me, he invited me to come out, and I really like didn't want to go, because I wasn't going to be in the video. But at the same time, it's like, well, that's my cousin. I support what he does on, aside from him being aside from him being my cousin, so it's like, it's not just family, but it's like, he was courteous enough to invite me to be on the scene of the shoot. And he also offered me to like be in the video in the background. But I'm like, nah, that's not, I didn't come prepared for that. Like, and, especially in a rap video. But I mean, it's like, so for me, it's like I went out of respect for his craft and his career. So, but had I not gone, I would have, at least I would have hoped, like, hey, look, I'm not gonna be able to make it, but I appreciate you extending the invitation. That way, it leaves it open, because I know I've been in situations where I haven't, I forget to respectfully decline, and then I never hear back from said individuals for, because they people take it like, oh, he's clearly not interested in what I got going on, so I'm not even gonna bother, inviting him the next time around, because he didn't even want to, take the time out to let me know that he wasn't, because you don't know how important things may be to other people as well. So it's like, it common courtesy goes a very long way, and that's one of the things I'm learning. Always learning. it's life. So,
Yeah.
it goes a long way, and people, remember that kind of stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
So we're going to go ahead and get into conforming to social standards. Again, just thinking about, I guess, like a large part of it is like the expectation that not only society places on us, but I feel like there are like generational expectations as well. And, this will
Yeah, of
perfectly,
course.
this will be perfect, as far as when we get into living your best life. One of the things I think about too is like being judgmental.
Hmm.
Especially, we like to joke around, oh, not judging you. But a lot of times I feel like when people say I'm not, oh, I'm not judging you,
They
no
judging you.
judgment.
Oh, trust me, they
Right.
judging
No
you.
judgment. Yeah, let's go ahead and make a note about this situation right here and, put him on the list. You know what I mean? So, but
Hmm.
again, conforming, because I consider myself different. And, I know there's been situations I say something and it's not even like anything out of the norm that people do. It's like almost like,
Okay.
it might have been the wrong play to have said something like
Mm.
that or the wrong kind of setting. And people look at me sideways like, bro,
What?
right. Like you really just said that. But at the
Yeah.
same time, it's like, but I mean, come on, like this is normal. Like we all have done this at some point in our life, and I mean,
Yeah.
I'm, but yeah, it's like, I mean, you tell me what are your thoughts around that?
Man, this is one of those things that I'm actually really lights me up in a good way because I'm just a firm believer that I think everyone should just live an authentic life. And I know it sounds super hippie and like, ooh, whatever out there. But
Yeah,
I'm a huge believer that it's like we're all, whatever you believe in, the universe, God, a flower, whatever that is for you. But I think most people would say that there's like an energy or something out there. You kind of believe in something else, whether, whatever what that is. But I think that most people would say that, hey, was born, like I have certain talents and gifts. And I know a lot of people have a hard time recognizing what that is for whatever reason,
yeah,
but we're all given different interests and talents and things like that. So it's like, why would you not? It just blows my mind that we hide those and we get ashamed of them and we're embarrassed of them because, hey, I'm really good at Irish dancing. And you're like, oh, this is weird. No one else when you're 13, no one else in my school, Irish dances. So you stop practicing. You don't tell people about it. You hide it because you're afraid of it and you're ashamed of it. But it's like, no, that's that cool shit. Like that's what makes you you. What makes you unique.
yeah,
So I think when people start to kind of conform to social norms and things like that, where it's like, no one actually thinks this shit's cool, but like everyone tries to do it because they think other people think it's cool. And it's just like,
right.
man, just live your life, do your thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's so funny because it's even like that with like stereotypes. Like I guess like say all black people listen to rap music or only rap music, whatever. And
Right.
then
Yeah.
it's so funny like when they look at me and they're like, "Oh, you like country?" Like, yeah, I love me some country.
You're like, yeah,
I
bro.
love love rock and roll. Actually my favorite genre is smooth jazz. Second favorite is hip hop. But my favorite group is the Rippingtons. Who they're not even smooth jazz. They're a fusion jazz group. So that's like a separate.
Fusion jazz. I've never heard of that.
Yeah, it's like you can pretty much think of it like a subgenre of smooth jazz.
Ah.
Yeah, it involves like more. They use a lot of the same instruments, but more, I guess, like electronic sounds. So that's where fusion jazz came out of. I get pretty much using traditional, instruments and then electronic
Yeah.
instruments and all the other kind of special stuff, computer generated sounds to make music. So it's a really unique genre. A lot of people like to call it like Weather Channel music. And that's actually how I found
Oh,
out about it. Listening to the weather.
interesting. All right.
Yeah, yeah. Man, I feel like people are going to be judging me for that one too.
As
Um,
they should, as they should.
yeah.
Hey, this is a judge-free zone, though. I'm not judging you at all.
No,
Go on,
no, I'm just
please.
saying like when people like I think some people are going to hear that like, oh, okay, so you were listening to the Weather Channel and you found out you got that's how you got hooked on that, huh? Okay.
Right, 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 right.
um,
And that is a normal thing to think.
yeah, because I'm like, okay, I'm not the only one that like there's a lot of people that
That's done that.
yeah, there's like a lot of people say with like video games. There's a lot of people that it's like video games are really like becoming more engulfed in entertainment in that there a lot of these games are
Hmm.
putting playlists together from artists, like Big Sean was on Madden, or Green Day was on, or Kanye was on, NBA 2K, whatever. That's how they get their
Hmm.
song exposed. But sometimes people know other people, and so just like me finding out about songs from the Weather Channel, people find out about songs from video games. So
Gaming.
right, because I've
Oh,
literally had those
I didn't know
moments like,
that, but
yo,
it seems more acceptable.
exactly, because
Yeah.
like at least with guys, and not to I guess like try to charge
Do you think?
start any kind of gender war, but I mean at least with guys, I know it's like yo, like a lot of guys play games, so a lot of guys maybe recognize a song from a game.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and get into our trending topic. This one is brought to you by New York Times. And measles outbreak. New York declares health emergency, requires vaccinations in parts of Brooklyn. We're just going to say parts of New York because Brooklyn is a part of New York, one of the
Yeah.
5 boroughs, and are actually fining. Oh, here it is. The mayor said the city would issue violations and possibly fines of $1,000 for those who do not comply. All right. Um,
Sign me up and I'll pay $1,000.
what
I think that's
to
ridiculous.
not get vaccinated?
I think no. I'm actually personally a pro of no vaccinations.
Mm-hmm.
I'm well, for my life. I honestly don't really care what you do. You get vaccinated or don't get
Yeah.
vaccinated. It's totally up to you. That's your body. It's your life. For me, I don't really believe in them. I'd like to take a more holistic approach, and I just think our bodies are designed and they're strong enough to take care of themselves if we just treat them
All
right. And
right,
so
Dr.
I
Sebi.
think that it's well, no, but really,
Yeah.
and I just think it's insane what, I mean, the kind of side effects that people are having from vaccines, that people have been having for decades from vaccines, that, we try to hide so that people continue to get vaccines because it's such a financially booming industry. But I think it's a human right to be able to treat your body the way you want to treat it. And if I don't want to get a vaccine, or I don't want to give my child a vaccine, I mean, I think it should be illegal that you have to fine me for getting that vaccine. Like, I don't think that you should be able to fine me for that, but I will gladly pay that money to be able to do what I want with my body,
Mm-hmm. Well,
or my child's body, or family's for that matter, whatever that is.
so with this situation here in particular, though, we're talking about the measles outbreak.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people, and I think measles was also one of those ones in like the history books, I guess, that like I believe that's what killed off. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I know like well in general, a lot of people have died from things like measles, and
Yeah.
so I guess would you also go to say that for these kinds of illnesses or infections that, and not to, because I'm all for a holistic approach as well, but would you go to say that I guess in certain situations like this, people should still, if they want to, should still forego vaccinations?
I think that if you as a human being do not want to get vaccinated, I don't think that you should have to.
Hmm.
And I say that because, number one, I mean, it's literally up to you. So let's say you choose not to get vaccinated and you
Right.
get measles and you go through the symptoms or you end up dying from it. This is going to sound kind of harsh, but that was what you chose, and that's the consequence. That's the way that it happened and the way it played out. So it's like, I think it's up to you, and maybe you choose to get the vaccination and you still get the measles and you still got sick and you have the other side. I mean, it's really one of those what if situations where it's like, you don't know
Yeah.
how the situation is going to play out. You could get the vaccination and be completely fine. You could never get the vaccination and be completely fine.
Yeah.
So I think it's up to you and like what you're willing to risk, but also like what you believe in. For me, I would risk this all day long. I would never get a measles vaccination because I think if you're taking care of your body the right way and you're eating the right foods and you're eating clean and eating healthy and things like that, then I
Washing
think
your
your body,
hands, staying away from
washing your
infectious
hands, get
people.
your heart rate up,
I'm not gonna
stretch.
lie. It's almost like the flu, vaccine. I don't care to get the flu vaccination. I'll be honest about that. And
Okay.
like it trips me out, especially like people still get the flu vaccine, get the flu. With a
Mm-hmm.
lot of common infections or diseases, people they mutate and become different. So whether you're vaccinated or not, sometimes people still catch it. Now they say again, I do agree that
Mm-hmm.
vaccinations, greatly decrease the chances of catching, certain certain infections that you are vaccinated for. But at the same time, it's like, doesn't make it a 0% chance. But, back to what I was saying as far as, because I get, I catch a cold every year. At the same
Do you
time, it's
really?
like I can, with things like that, I've had the, common cold, pink eye, strep throat, um, uh, 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 other tonsil infections. Like I just get sick all the time. Um, but my thing is, I mean, in mostly all of those cases, except for like one, I could pinpoint exactly why I caught, why I got sick.
Yeah.
And that's why, it's kind of made me more of a germaphobe because I'm like, staying away from people. Hey, you wash your hands, bro? Like, or, did you touch that? Because I'm not about to have what you have. Like, are you sick? You sure you're not? Like, okay. If I'm unsure, like, hey,
Mhm.
bump, like, be watching people when they don't, when they leave the bathroom, make sure they see if they wash their hands or not. So, like, I'm like, yeah,
Mhm.
because you cannot trust right,
Anyone.
exactly.
Yeah. No, I was just gonna say, what's interesting is that we weren't planning on talking about this, but it just got me thinking. For me, tell me if you ever face this tension, because for me, when I would, when you're at a job, you're at work, school, whatever that looks like, you have sick days, right? Like you have days designed literally in case you get sick to take them. But I feel like when I would be, if I was, I really don't get sick often. Like I couldn't tell you the last time I got sick. But if I was ever feeling sick or whatever, I would almost be afraid to take a sick day because you like don't want to. For me, it was like, oh, I don't want to look like I don't care, like don't want to, not show up for my job. So I would go into work, if I was feeling like I was coming out the flu, or even when I was sick,
Yeah.
But then it's like when I'm healthy and someone who's sick comes into the office, I'm like, yo, it is not that big of a deal. You can miss work for a day or two, go home, get some rest. You know what I mean? Like, don't make it any worse. So it's kind of the interesting tension of, would you, when you're not feeling well, even if it's in the beginning stages, would you stay home and like not want to infect anyone else because you can gather people sick? Or would you still like push through and go into work? So you're like, oh, I don't want to, you know.
I hate that you put me on the spot because
Oh
I
no.
no, I'm not going to
You
shy.
got it, bud.
There's nothing to shy away from. I'm not, I'm I'm not walking around with no airborne bacteria right now. I
Yeah.
mean, I've done it, and my thing is to make sure I keep my distance from people. At
Hmm.
the end of the day, I can continue to wipe off whatever I need to wipe off. To I try to look out for the next man at the end of the day, and constantly washing
Yeah.
my hands, and I'm not making contact with anybody. I'm not even talking to nobody because I don't want to be that person. Everybody out here like, yo, he's spreading germs, man. Like quarantine, because
Yeah,
I'm the
yeah,
same
yeah.
way now. Because now I tell you, if I'm coughing, or as my people like to say, barking all day, then that's when it's like,
Oh my
yeah, like, because
gosh.
my thing is, if I can keep it under control, if I know I can keep it under control and I can function properly, then I'm going to do it. But if not, then I'm not going to put myself through it. It's like usually where I draw the line
Yeah.
is if I got a really bad fever, that's when I'm like, I'm done
Yeah.
because then I'm ready to die. not, not really like, I'm just like, all right,
That's it for me.
I'm done. This is the end. It's getting kind of hot. So to answer your question, yeah, I'm one of
That's
those people
awesome.
that go in, but I make sure to keep my distance and wash my hands, keep my hand sanitizer.
Yeah.
I excuse myself. Even
The
when I'm
best you
not
can.
sick, when I have to blow my nose or something, I always excuse myself from the room.
The
Yes,
vicinity.
the vicinity.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Uh, yeah, because I don't like spreading germs, and I hate when people with a passion are around me and they want to blow their nose. Like, bro, go to the bathroom. It's not that long of a walk,
Go
right?
somewhere
Because
else.
it's my.
Sick.
You blow your
Yeah.
nose, you wash your hands. It's not you blow your nose and resume your activities. No,
It's a two-step
yes,
process.
exactly. Blow your nose and wash your hands. So my mom's worse than me. I'll use hand sanitizer. She's like, nah, don't worry. You go wash your hands. That's not good enough. Yes.
Really?
So
That's awesome.
yeah. So that was our trending topic. Again, brought to you by the New York Times. You guys know where to find them. And again, the name of that article for anybody that wants to read it. Measles outbreak. New York declares health emergency. Requires vaccinations in parts of Brooklyn. New York. All right. Living your best life.
And ain't them back and forth. It's my life's theme song.
Yeah, oh man, that song came out a little too soon. That would have been a perfect summer song, honestly. Yes, so
It still can be. We can bring it back.
we can. T-Pain actually has a joint that just dropped a few weeks ago. This song, a lot of these songs can't come out too soon. You know, with the unfortunate death of Nipsey Hussle, that kind of just clouded.
R.I.P.
Yeah,
Nipsey.
that kind of clouded
Yeah.
everything, and you know, a lot of people are focused on that. So really what's hot right now is just like, yeah, you know, everybody's just kind of dialing it back. And, you know, all the attention's on him and, you know, his music, 57 million streams since his death. So, you know, like you said, R.I.P. Nips. So, yeah, but living your best life, you know, and it's so funny, you know, it's a trending thing, whatever people consider living their best life, whether it be making money, going on vacation, you know, buying expensive clothes or whatever, like doing you at the end of the day, I guess it's a true definition of do you do the, and, you know, live your life to the best of your abilities. And not until recently, actually, I started seeing memes on social media, you know, talking about people living their best life. Like how you living your best life, you don't have a job, or you know, or you do this for a living, and you out here going to Miami. Like how you afford it? I'm like, yo, y'all really coming for these people? Like for real, it trips me up, man. It really does. Yeah, I know me personally. I guess I guess you can say I'm living my best life in my own way. You know, I'm doing my podcast. You know, I guess living your best life takes on a different definition for everybody. You know, I guess what is it to be living your best life? It varies with everybody. And you know,
of course.
thinking about the earlier topic, conforming to social standards, you know, people I guess have this idea of like what you should be doing. Because honestly, when I think about other people's perception of living their best life, a lot of times it is going on those vacations and, you know, doing this.
Yeah.
Me personally, I feel like people should, I guess, be preparing to live their best life. You know, like, you know, grind to your 20s, I guess, like, whatever. You know, you've seen it, like, you know, working your, I guess, like, you know, make your money in your 30s, whatever. I want to do that before my 30s or before my 40s. You know, I want to be
right. Same.
You know, do it. But I guess what's your take on this whole living your best life thing?
Man, I mean, I know you know what my take is because we know each other, but I'm a firm believer in, and I mentioned this earlier. I really believe everyone should live like their authentic life and really what's best for them, and not in a selfish way, but I think when you're like living out of your strengths and you're living out of like your authenticity, I think that really is what's best for everyone else and other people around you and under like your sphere of influence. Because I think we can only be as good and helpful to the world or other people as we are to ourselves, you know? So if I'm neglecting myself or I'm not like really operating out of who I feel like I am and I'm faking it, it's not authentic, it's not really me. It's only gonna get me so far. It's only, you know, it can only go so far below the surface. So I'm a huge proponent of that. I think there's nothing more badass than someone who really just like knows who they are and is cool with it, you know, and is like not only okay with it, but just like fucking loves it and is like, cool, this is it, let's do this thing, you know?
Right. Because you know, I guess my thing is because you know, it's like again, people do what they want. My thing is like I just hope no one like goes overboard with whatever it is they're doing. You know, like you know, you live your best life, and now like your best life took you downhill too. You know what I mean? Like you did a little too much.
Well, okay, that's great. Yeah, no, that's really wise because I think that's important. In my head, when I say live your best life, I'm viewing it from the perspective of like your true best life and like what really is your best life. And I think so often, you know, people just, I think so many people don't really know what they're good at and don't know what they like and don't know what they like to do for fun and things like that. So when you don't know who you are, what you like, or what you want to do, you can't live your best life if you don't know what that is. You know what I mean?
I agree.
And I think your air quote, your best life is like a moving target. I think it's not like, okay, I've done this, that, and the other, and I've arrived and I'm living the best life for the rest of my life. I think it's constantly a journey and I think you'll hopefully never feel like you're there or that you've arrived. you always want to have new goals and be growing, and they can all be in separate areas. They can be personal, career focused, health focused, whatever that is for you.
Right.
But I mean, all of them hopefully have, at some point or the
Right.
other. But yeah, I mean, I think, ooh, I love it. I just love when people do the thing.
It's funny you say what you said as far as living your best life is a moving target. I couldn't think of a better thing to say than that.
Yeah.
And because at the end of the day, people grow and think,
People should grow.
yeah,
Not everyone does,
very true.
unfortunately.
Very true. Thanks for the correction. People should grow. Hopefully everyone does grow in that, right.
Hopefully, yeah.
In that, because I definitely agree because, it's like I'm I guess like not one track mind. Like I'm thinking this is right now, this is what I want later, and so on. Like, and
Yeah.
that
Hmm.
being my best life, and honestly,
Yeah.
it's funny that it's even something trending now because, when you think about it, it's like, okay, living your best life, one day being able to look back on your life, have no regrets, and also be able to say, I did everything I wanted to do. At the end of the day,
Yeah.
if you do that, if you do those things, you did live your best.
Hmm.
And so I kind of feel like
Yeah, I agree.
we almost put too much on an emphasis on just living your best life and almost, it's one of like, think of it like one of those things like we're overthinking living our best life. Like we have to do
Yeah.
we have to do
Yeah.
more. We have to do extra stuff in order to quote unquote
Hmm.
live our best life. But honestly, it's like
Yeah.
just do what you want to do and make what you want to happen.
Right.
You are living your best life. You don't have to, because sometimes I think people want
Yeah.
that clout, want that attention, and put those pictures up, living my best life. Like, okay, we got it. Yeah, you've been doing it for 5 years now. I think we get it. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's
Yeah.
how I feel about it. So yeah, I mean, continue living your best life to all the listeners out there. Continue living your best life, like Lou Duvall said.
Hmm.
So let's go ahead and get into our final
True.
topic: cockiness, confidence, humble. Not gonna lie, something I deal with on a regular. As far as myself, I know I was having a conversation with my uncle the other day, and just talking to him about the progress of the SANE Show, and he was like, "Just remember, like, stay humble." And it kind of shook me a little bit. I'm like, "Did I lose my grip? You know what I mean? Did I lose
It's
my
like,
ground or something?"
yeah.
I even pulled up
Yeah.
Merriam-Webster dictionary. Make sure we define these correctly.
Get the right
Right.
definition.
Let's see.
Hmm.
So cocky, boldly or brashly self-confident. Confident, full of conviction, having or showing assurance and self-reliance. Okay. And then humble, not proud or haughty, not arrogant or assertive. Reflecting, expressing,
Hmm.
or offered in a spirit of difference or submission. Okay. So now that we have the definitions to work with, I feel like I was doing a spelling bee. Cocky, confident, humble. Can you define that for me, please? So yeah, I like to consider myself confident, very confident at that. I've been told that I'm cocky.
Fine line, Cliff.
I've been because let's start with the cocky and confident part because I feel like there's a bit
Yes.
of there's a thin line, if not a blurred line, between the two. And honestly, sometimes go ahead.
See, no, I was going to say, I think we assume that there's a fine line between them, and we think that it's kind of they're closer together than they actually
Hmm.
are. And in reality, I think that there's a huge difference between someone being cocky and someone being confident. And I think the definitions do a good job of explaining it if you kind of understand the context. I think when you're cocky, it is a little bit of like an overcompensation is I think what it kind of feels like from the outside perspective when you're interacting with someone, the external person who's receiving your air quote cockiness like feels like you're overcompensating. But I think and I'm not saying that you are, but I think when you're cocky, it's a confidence in your kind of your abilities and your skills, but like not in a healthy way where you're like you're not actually confident in them, but you want to be, but you're not there. So you kind of try to fake it till you make
Got
it.
it.
And I think confidence and true confidence, you come across as, yeah, you're confident and you're self-assured and you believe in yourself and you know what you're good at and you act in it, you work, you operate out of your strengths. But it's not loud, it's not boastful like cocky is. It's kind of just a quiet, like I think it's still confidence. And that doesn't mean you can't own a room when you walk in, and it doesn't mean, you don't have energy that attracts people to you. But I think it's not, you're not the loudest person in the room. You're not the girl that's laughing, you know, 12 decibels louder than everyone over a joke. Sorry, that was a sound engineer word. Laughing way louder than everyone over a joke when it's like, hey, it really wasn't that funny. You know what I mean? It's cocky seems like you're trying to get attention. And I think confidence just operates in who it is. And it gets attention naturally because it's so great, but not because it's seeking attention. You know what I mean?
Got it. Ooh, you could. Okay, that's the SANE Show, episode
How you feeling,
26.
Cliff?
We just gonna wrap it up there, y'all. She just kind of just kind of put it together for us. Wow. I'm just sitting here like, okay. Yeah, I'm also self-reflecting as well. And then there's humble. I think when you put it as well as you
Yeah.
did, and we bring humble into the equation, I think that is definitely
Mm-hmm.
its own category aside from because it's
Yeah,
almost
for
like
sure.
I guess I like to call humble like the silent killer. It's you
Mm,
don't, and I'm not gonna say you don't control the room still, but it's like it's almost like you're noticed, but you do nothing at all to get yourself noticed, but you are noticed. You know what I mean? Like you
mm-hmm.
step to, so
Yeah.
you don't have to say anything. Like people you just get off this. So I'll say you without being able to say anything, you give off this air of confidence. Like you just don't say
Mm-hmm.
anything though. You just but when it comes time to do whatever it is you have to do, you do it and you kill it, and you just walk up like nothing happened and resume.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like those are my favorite people, honestly. I'll be honest. I lean more to
Yeah.
the confidence and sometimes cocky side, and those humble people. One thing I try to learn to be more like them because I love that kind of stuff where you don't have people already know. You
Yeah.
walk in and your presence just alone it says, I'm here, you know.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, you really shut it down. What you said. There's not, I mean, because it's, the words mean what they mean.
Yeah.
I guess you could say people fall in one of the three categories as is, and it's not much that I guess can be argued on one. And
There's probably a fourth category of people who are unconfident.
lack confidence. What is it called? Oh gosh.
Lack.
It's lack of confidence, but there is a word for it. Let's see. There are synonyms and antonyms.
Ooh.
Insecure. Boom. There you go. Insecure, self
Insecure.
doubting,
Insecure?
or defendant is another one. So, or diffident. No, diffident. Ooh,
Mm.
oh gosh.
Defiant?
No, diffident.
You're doing great. Okay.
Diffident is the word. So
I've never heard that word
we
before.
sound illiterate on
What
here
does
right
that
now.
mean?
It is what it is. We're gonna go with. I'm gonna go.
Hey, we're learning right now. We're
Yes, we
growing.
are. We are. We're learning. We have the Webster Dictionary up. So I'm gonna go with insecure though, cause or actually let's go with diffident.
That's a solid
Go
land.
ahead.
Oh, okay. I think insecure is a solid landing
Hmm.
place. I've never heard of diffident slash don't know the definition.
It is pronounced diffident, and it's weird with the pronunciation. The fi part is it has they spell it different. Sometimes help you pronounce it. It's like the letter F,
Yeah.
and then the letter E turned backwards and upside down. Weird. Uh, so like
Is this another
no,
language? Sweet Lord.
I guess it would be like almost Latin if you look at it. Yet again, I'm pretty sure I'm incorrect on that. But diffident, hesitant in acting or speaking through lack of self-confidence. So that is pretty much the
Mm,
opposite of confidence. So yeah, I
yeah.
mean, but I just think it's interesting, especially you and I, we having worked in sales, we've come across a lot of individuals who display these different, I guess, would you call them traits or characteristics?
Yeah. Yeah. Character
Yeah.
traits.
So it's interesting to the thing about it, and because again, talking about it makes me self-reflect. I'll be honest, I'm
Yeah.
very self-conscious, self-aware, and things, especially when we talk about these kinds of things, and it makes me reflect on myself and how I carry myself and how I present myself. Because last thing somebody wants to hear is, well, if you are cocky, if you are, or if you're not cocky and you come off as cocky, last thing you want to hear is you're cocky versus you're
Right.
humble kind of thing. So, but at the same time, one of the things, I'll admit I was probably like a very cocky individual
Hmm.
in school, especially in school. High school, played football. Big and strong, and I was all right. It's like you especially like you're growing, and with males, testosterone, so like that ego thing is huge,
Real
right?
thing.
But but I think you definitely bring up a solid point when you talk about, trying to display that confidence be due to maybe internal or subconscious lack of confidence in whatever it is. And a thing of trying to
Yeah.
prove that you can do something. And because
Hmm.
I say in some of the things that I've
Right.
done, that's why I did them. Because there's been times I was told I couldn't do something, and then I prove to myself that I could do it. And then, so that made me cocky at times, or come off as cocky at times, because
Yeah.
it's like I carried this, it's like I had a chip on my shoulder, and always walked around as if I had something to prove to everybody, as if every person I met.
Mm.
So it felt like every person I met told me from the jump that I couldn't do whatever it is I could do. And even though
Hmm.
that didn't happen much, because it's like, once I started, proving myself, of course I started gaining respect and I started gaining a reputation. But then I just walked around with this chip on my shoulder as
Yeah.
if everyone doubted me. Therefore, I had to prove and let everyone know I'm that guy. I'm going to
Yeah.
get it done, kind of thing, causing
Yeah.
me to come off as cocky, because not believing that people believe in my abilities. Therefore, me having to prove to people that I can do something and I can do it very well.
Yeah.
It feels like,
Yeah. I think it comes down also to like a scarcity versus abundance mindset. I
hmm
think when you're cocky, I think that comes from a scarcity mindset where you do, you kind of you feel like you have to prove, and you're striving and you're grasping for all these different things, and you're trying to like prove something to someone, and oftentimes they don't give two shits.
right,
You know what I mean?
exactly,
Um,
exactly.
Right. But I think being confident, it comes out of, it's an overflow of abundance where you have an abundance mindset, I think, about life, where there's plenty of opportunity, and there's plenty of money for everyone, and there's opportunity for everyone, and you're not having to go out of your way and like try to grasp at these things that aren't for you, but like the right things will come in their
hmm
time. And and I think it's kind of another determining factor on how to separate the
Right,
two.
right. I agree. I definitely agree. That makes me, gosh, I don't even know anymore. It just this feels almost like like a little. I'm in therapy almost, just thinking about how I was sitting here, taking and self reflecting and talking about me back in the day. So yeah, it's funny,
Back in the
right?
day.
But
Yeah.
I think it is. I think it is healthy for people to take and sit and reflect on. At the end of the day, this kind of stuff does have an effect on how you come off to other people. Especially me. 26 years old. I'm always learning. Especially I'm still young. To a lot of people, I'm still a kid.
Hmm.
So I'm always learning. I still have a lot to learn, and these are things that I pay attention to
Yeah.
often, to, I guess, like, try to do better by myself and by other people, and
Hmm.
coming off, because I'll admit again, that's something that I worked, had worked on, and I'll say to an extent still working on, as far as like the whole cockiness and confidence thing, and learning how
Yeah.
to humble thyself. It's funny, like when you get
Yes.
humble, because I tell you, when you get humbled, that is a feeling. Like when you end up in that situation
Hmm.
where you think you got it, and then like you get knocked to your knees, and then you got to work your way
Hmm.
up. Because like I tell people,
Better stop praying.
right? Yeah, exactly. one of the things I tell people, when pursuing things is, just be prepared to get like knocked down one good time and work your way up and accept the fact, because that's,
Yeah.
speaking personally, that's how I got better with a lot of things. It's like accepting the fact that I'm not as good as I think I am, but I can get better, and accepting
Yeah.
the fact that, you're going to take
Mhm.
your L's, but if you take your L's gracefully and you learn, then you will for
Mhm.
sure get better. And
Ooh, it's not an L for loss, it's an L for
that is
learn.
it. That is it. It's so funny.
Just came up with that on the spot.
No, my one of my good friends from college, when I first got out of school and was looking for a job, and I'm just like, I think I told him, it's like, man, yeah, I'm just taking all these L's, man, and just like, or I said, no, I told losses, and he's like, no, he's like, it's not L for loss, it's L for learn, and it's one of those things that I hold on to, because like, yeah, like there's a
Yeah.
so yeah, take your L's, because you learn from
Mhm.
them. And because again, if you're not taking your L's, then again, I say it time and time again, but you're not learning, and you might end up in a position you want to be in, but because you don't know what you need to know, or you're not truly prepared, you'll take a really fat L, and it's not going to be pretty. So
Yeah.
that's nothing I
Mhm.
wish on anybody, because I know I look
Yeah.
back at some of the things I wish I had, or wish I would have been able to do, but it's like, had I done that, I would have looked like a big idiot, and I probably would have ruined myself or ruined my opportunity,
Yeah.
whatever. So it's like, I'm glad that I had to had all these learning experiences, and that because as
Yeah.
I go along, one of the things I learned is like this. There's a reason why you have to go through the process. There's a reason why people say, trust the process. There's
Mhm.
a reason. There's a reason you don't go from you don't go from A to Z. You got to go to A, B, C, D, all the way down the
Yeah.
whole alphabet. And then when you get to Z, you're like, okay, this makes sense. Because had I gone from A to Z,
Yeah. Now I
right, and
understand.
I would
Yeah.
have had some problems.
Yeah.
So yeah, that went by fast. It's all
It did, man. It really
yeah,
did.
time flies by when you're having fun, right? I'm so glad to have you back on now that because anybody that doesn't know, using the Ringer app more now, so gives me the ability to do the same show with people anywhere in the country. Matter of fact, anywhere in the world. So super
Mhm.
dope. So going to have Mal back on more often, I hope. I know you got your
Yeah.
things going on. So yeah, like again, it's always fun, and I was looking forward to this all day. It's always great when I have a recording that I look forward to. Not that I don't look forward to any recording, but it's always great that to have something that I look extra forward to. Especially it's like we've done this before, so and it's always been a good time. So this
Yeah.
time, just like every other time, is a good time. So yeah, we got the live recording coming up April 27th. I'm
Mhm.
stoked. Um, it's going to be excited. Are
Yes.
you excited?
I'm freaking pumped,
Good.
y'all. Get your tickets at
Yes,
Eventbrite.
get your tickets at Eventbrite. They are free. Again, go to Eventbrite. SANE Show live at Eventbrite. Tickets are free. We'll be at Coco and the director in the heart of Uptown Charlotte. Really dope looking coffee shop. And if you haven't done so, make sure you do so. Go follow the SANE Show on Instagram and Twitter. SANE underscore show, SANE underscore show on Facebook, the SANE Show. And then you can find us on almost every or just about every streaming platform. So definitely go check us out. It's free. You don't have to pay for any download. Continue to like, share, subscribe, and listen, most importantly, to the Sane Show.
Mhm.
Thank you guys for listening as always. Love you guys from the US to Canada to the UK to Germany, Panama, Australia, Belgium, and anywhere else in the world that I didn't recognize. Appreciate you guys for listening. Continue listening. This is the Sane Show, episode 26 with Mal, and we're out.
Peace out.